Dude, am I dumb? Oh my gosh. This is dumb. I hate this. Actually, screw you. I mean, it's better than iFixit doing that bull. Oh my god. Good thing the battery's not connected because that would have shorted so many things. Dude, that's so stupid. Keyboard and trackpad not working. And it has like a really short wake time. Oh, Apple's dumb. Bullshit. A couple years ago, I bought a 2019 MacBook Pro from Goodwill that was worse for wear and attempted to fix it myself. In the end, I sold it and upgraded to my M1 MacBook Pro that you've seen in almost every video since then. It is hands down one of my most used and favorite tools. This thing runs my streams, records my audio, edits my videos, and helps me with a bunch of my day-to-day tasks. So when it stopped working last month, I was devastated. I bought this laptop open box from Best Buy and never put Apple Care on it. But even if I would have paid the $300 for Apple Care, it still would have cost me another $99 to have Apple replace the screen for me because Apple Care only covers the things that are Apple's fault. So since it's my fault that the LCD cracked so easily in its thin form factor, I would have to pay more to get it fixed even if I had Apple Care. Thankfully, I fix things all the time. It's kind of my job. But Apple devices are notoriously hard and annoying to fix. So I searched around to see if it was worth it just to buy a whole new M3 MacBook Pro so I could get the extra RAM and storage that I've been wanting. That was a little out of my budget though. I thought about doing the headless MacBook thing that people have been doing lately, and as cool as it is, it just doesn't really fit my workflow. So I was either gonna have to pay someone to fix it for me or try and fix it myself. My local repair shop isn't Apple certified and wouldn't even touch it when I brought it in for a quote. That's because to do it properly without Apple's approval, you have to do some pretty crazy soldering to swap chips on the screen's ribbon cable. And that's after you have to struggle to disassemble the fragile top half. And you can't just swap displays because you will end up with these artifacts on screen, even if you install a genuine Apple screen off of a different MacBook. That's because this screen is linked to your serial number. So if a repair shop wasn't willing to do all of this for me, I probably shouldn't bother to try it myself. I was gonna have to find a certified Apple repair shop to take it to. Unfortunately, the closest ones to me were the two Apple stores in Portland, an hour and a half away from me. I didn't want to have to travel all the way up there to drop it off, and it's probably not gonna be done the same day, so I'm gonna have to go all the way back home, then the next day or two drive all the way back up and all the way back down just to pick it up when it's done. Because if it's not done in the same day, that's a total of 6 hours of driving for me. And according to Apple support, that would cost me anywhere from $300 to $600 plus a pretty much full tank of gas, which right now is about $60 for me. But there's obviously one more option that I completely forgot about: the Apple Self-Service Repair Program. A bunch of YouTubers tried this out when it first launched, but all the videos that I saw were showing off the ridiculousness that is the iPhone screen replacement. Since I didn't need to rent any tools to fix my MacBook, and it wouldn't require any intense soldering doing it through Apple self-service, I decided to give it a shot. So only $672.32, and 2 weeks later, I had a brand new screen to install. Yes, I know, it seems a lot more expensive for me to do it myself, but unless I was fortunate enough to only pay the lower end of the quoted price, it would have come out to be about the same price if you include the gas money. Plus, with the self-service program, you do get a rebate if you return your original parts to them. Eventually, I will get $93.28 back for my broken parts. So it was either $300 to $600 plus gas to get it done for me, or $579.04 after my rebate, minus all the ad revenue I'll make from this video. Thank you for lowering the cost of my repair. That joke won't make as much sense if you have YouTube Premium or AdBlock, but you actually helped even more, you Premium members. Thanks for nothing, AdBlock users, but let's finally talk about the repair process. Since this is all Apple certified, I will be following their tutorial to a T. That way I won't mess anything up, right? Apple knows their products better than anyone else, so their guides should be the best, right? According to Apple, all the tools we'll need to replace the screen are a Torx T3 screwdriver, a Torx T8 screwdriver, and a nylon probe. That's it? Really? Okay, well, first thing to tell us to do is remove the bottom case, antenna module, and the hinge covers. Apple's not gonna tell us how to do it in this tutorial though. We gotta click into those separately and then come back. Okay, I can't do this charade anymore. This is one of the worst tutorials, if not the worst tutorial I have ever had the pleasure of following along with. Because of their laziness to not include those 3 parts in this tutorial, I had to backtrack a couple of times when I put this back together, and it was bullshit. Tearing it down is honestly simple enough, and yes, technically they do tell you everything you need to remove, but they completely skip over what I think is the most important step. Please, for the sake of any peace in your life, disconnect the battery on your MacBook or any device you're working on as soon as possible. If I wouldn't have done that, I could have bricked my entire system when I dropped my screwdriver putting it back together. To give Apple a little credit, it was a surprisingly easy process. They just made it much more annoying trying to follow along with their tutorial. You can literally see between steps 2 and 3 that they remove the antenna module and hinge covers and reinstall them between steps 12 and 13. And they don't mention it anywhere in this guide that they even do it. At the very least, they should link to those tutorials at those steps, so we at least know when to do it, not to do it first. I'm going off script here because this really pisses me off. You have to do those steps, so include it in the tutorial. It's not like it's optional, and it's not like there's that many people that have a bad antenna or vent system that they have to replace it. Like, it's not like that's a more common issue. The screen replacement is probably the most common issue, maybe behind the keyboard replacement, even though they kind of fixed the keyboards, but they're still junk. Going back on script, it really wouldn't take that much to copy the words and pictures from those tutorials and paste them into any of those other tutorials that require messing around with those parts. It's so aggravating how obvious it is that they're putting in the bare minimum to comply.
This is like Apple's passive-aggressive way of saying, here you go.
I love Apple products and I've invested a lot of money into their company, but this whole process has pissed me off. I was really hoping to make the second channel video on this be a solid tutorial for people to follow along with instead of Apple's written tutorial, but I don't think it's salvageable as a good tutorial with all the backtracking I had to do. So if you want to laugh at my pain and misery while I try to fix this, check out the second channel, Jake64. That video will be linked below and in the cards at the end. There isn't much more I need to cover on the repair process in this video beyond calibrating the lid angle sensor. Just don't forget to reconnect your battery as the last step before putting the back cover on. Once you have closed up your system completely, you will need to initiate the system configuration process by holding the Touch ID button until it says loading startup options, which, by the way, you will need to plug in your MacBook to wall power for the first boot after reconnecting the battery. And once you get to this page, hold Command and D until it asks you to choose a language. Just follow along with what it says, but when you get to the part where you close the lid to calibrate the lid angle sensor, make sure your sound is on and up so you can wait for the beep. This is where I messed up. I had my sound muted and I didn't know it, and I just counted out to 20 seconds in my head, which actually I waited longer than 20 seconds and I was looking at the clock so it was accurate. But that did mess up my calibration, and that's partially on me. I should have just waited for the beep. But there was no beep and there was never going to be a beep, and I did wait more than the amount of time that they asked me to. So I don't know if I fully placed the blame on me, but that's fine. But the dumb part is you can't just redo it. Even after talking with support and letting them do it for me, all we got were errors. This stupid little part is not rewritable, so I had to buy a new lid angle sensor just to try it again. Apple charges $20 for this part, but is too cheap to make it a rewritable chip? Seriously? There is a 60-day warranty on the replacement parts, but what's even dumber was I would have had to buy a whole new replacement screen and lid angle sensor to get it under the warranty. I wasn't about to drop another $700 to wait to hopefully get it reimbursed, on top of already having to wait for my $100 rebate. My faith in this service just isn't there yet, so I just ended up buying another lid angle sensor for $20 more outside of my warranty. And since I haven't gotten that in yet at the time of this recording, I'll throw it to future Jake to talk about how that went. Update time. So I've actually completed the video and posted it for the members. It's been up since last Friday. If you want to join the mod squad, I'll hit that join button down below. But this most recent Monday, the 19th, I finally got my new lid angle sensor so I can try it again. And other than having to talk to support and them basically doing the configuration for me, everything went smoothly. Because for whatever reason, I couldn't find a session, so I just chatted with support. Then they did all the rest for me. There were no errors this time, thankfully, but I'm still waiting on all of my rebates. I have not gotten any rebates for lid angle sensor or the screen. And then yesterday, this is Wednesday that I'm recording this, August 20th, I was trying to record gameplay for a different video. My laptop was fully working and fine. I got a little notification in the top right corner saying, hey, it's time to update. And it wasn't the type of notification saying, oh, we're going to do it later tonight like I usually get. It was, no, we're doing this now. And then it completely closed out of everything while I was using the laptop and went into update mode. Not that big of a deal. So I plugged in my laptop because you should pretty much always have it plugged in when you're updating. You don't want to lose power while you're updating. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. Walk out of the room, maybe 10 seconds, come back. Screen is off, completely black. Keyboard's not lit up anymore. The charge light on my MacBook wasn't even orange, green, nothing. No power whatsoever. Oh my gosh. I tried everything that I could online, and so I ended up taking it to a repair shop in Eugene, which is only 45 minutes away from me. And the people at Mobile Kangaroo were very nice. They helped me out. Unfortunately, it was not going to be fixed until the next day, today, when I'm recording this. And they charged me $75 just to diagnose it. Totally fine. Then once it was fixed, they charged another $75 for the fix. So another $150 later, my laptop is working again. This had nothing to do with the Apple self-service. It had nothing to do with anything that I did. It just went into DFU and I was stuck and there was nothing I could do about it because I didn't have the tools necessary to fix it. The people at Mobile Kangaroo did it for me. I've got a 90-day warranty if it decides to randomly turn off and not turn on again. And I actually chatted with them about the fact that I did the self-service repair. They said that they had never heard of anybody doing it and in fact called me a legend. That was their words, not mine. I swear. I was like, hey, just out of curiosity, since I'm making a whole video on this, how much would you have charged out of warranty to do a screen and lid angle sensor replacement? And with them charging for the parts and their time, it was over $700. I want to say it was $800. I should have written it down. I apologize. But it was much more than Apple quoted, and they actually are an Apple certified repair shop. I didn't know that until I got this comment from a member. Thank you very much. So I could have taken it there and not had to travel as far, but it would have been even more than Apple's quoted price. And when I told the guy at Mobile Kangaroo the Apple quoted price, he was a bit perplexed, like, how do they get it that low? But it is Apple, so they don't need to make as much money, I guess, as a third-party repair shop. I don't know. I just want to throw all that in there. And yeah, I'm a legend. Don't you forget that. So after all of that, I have a fully working laptop again. I'm still waiting on my rebate, but hopefully there's no issues there. Any updates I have to the story will be in a pinned comment or maybe even a second channel video if there's a lot more to talk about than I realize. Would I recommend you try this yourself? Sadly, no. It really only made sense for me in my situation, but even I probably wouldn't have done it if I wasn't making a video on it. You should take whatever route makes the most financial sense for you and your comfort level. I do believe this is a repair that most people can do, but spending $600 to do it yourself doesn't make that much sense for most people, especially if you don't already have the necessary screwdrivers, which I will link some cheap options for anyone who needs them and doesn't want to spend the ridiculous amount of money that Apple is trying to charge. I know they probably won't, but if Apple wouldn't charge so much for replacement parts and you could actually save money fixing it yourself, this would be a decent little repair program. But right now, it's not. What do you guys think of the Apple self-service repair program? Have you tried it yourself? Do you want to try it yourself? Let me know in those comments down below. I'm just glad that this repair didn't require renting all those fancy doohickeys like the iPhone repairs do. But that's about it for me. So like, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Later, guys. The most comical part of all this to me was I tried several times to pay for the replacement screen from Apple with my Apple card on Apple Pay, and it failed every time. But PayPal worked just fine.